Morning, everybody.
Well, morning.
October 24th, about 8:48. We have a public meeting, Commissioners Court, Liberty County, to discuss with permits and inspections, discussion on proposed order adopting rules of Liberty County, Texas for on-site sewer facilities. Melinda, you want to ease up here and give us a little bit of a word about some of the changes? Well, not changes, but just some options.
Basically, they're not changes. Mostly everything in here is already in the TCEQ rules.
Yeah.
But the issues that we're having is a lot of our contractors, our designers, our site evaluators, well, it's not in your ordinance. I said, well, you of all people need to know the TCEQ rules. But they still, because it's not in our ordinance, they don't think they have to follow it. So this pretty much tightens our ordinance up. This is something Mr. Douglas and I have been working on for 4 years, back and forth with TCEQ.
Okay.
Trying to get their permission. And basically, I sent everything to you guys, and it's under section 9 or where all the changes that we asked for. This is going to help us in office. My board DRs out here in the field, you know, they're going to show up and be able to do their inspections correctly. The main one is the 10-acre rule. This does not do away with the fact that they can have a septic system on their 10 acres. All this is doing is that it needs to be permitted, because what happens when mom and dad are gone, the kids decide to divide the property up to make some money, and then we ended up with an illegal system because nobody knows about it.
Yeah.
Now it has to be permitted. That's the only change on the 10-acre rule. Before they didn't have to have it permitted. Now they will.
Okay.
Okay. Platted subdivisions, you know, we do the ½ acre if they have public water, 1 acre if they have a water well. If they happen to have a septic and a water well, it has to be 1 acre. If they have public water and a septic, it has to be a ½ acre. Now, there are some rules in TCEQ that anything was platted before 1986, they're grandfathered.
Yeah.
So we work with these people. It's not like no, you don't have a big enough plat. If it was platted before 1986, we work with them. Another section is any re-inspections that we have to do will require a re-inspection fee. For myself and some of my DRs to go, you know, it's an hour trip one way.
Mm-hmm.
So that's time, fuel, something that could be doing something else. And I think that we need to be able to charge for these repeat returns for the same thing. And I mean, there's been times when I've shown up for an inspection 3 or 4 times to the same place.
Yeah.
Okay. Maintenance contracts. Everybody gets a 2-year maintenance contract when they get their new system. However, once the 2-year contract expires, they never take care of their system afterwards. They don't know how, or they don't know that they're supposed to. TCEQ rules are maintenance contracts are required for the life of the system. So now with this rule in place, once the 2-year ends, we're going to have a way to keep track so we can send them letters. Okay, you're expiring. We need a copy of your new one. Because a lot of times we don't know what's happening until the neighbor calls and there's an issue.
Yeah.
You know, it's overflowing. It's causing tremendous issues everywhere.
Well, folks are moving in too. That have
Yeah,
never-
we've got a lot of people moving in and never even heard of a septic system, let alone
Yeah.
live with one on their property.
Yeah.
Site evaluations, septic designs, any planning materials must have original signatures, dates, and seals. It's not hard to scan it and send it, and it'll be an original signature. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is these copies of copies of copies. By the time you get to the 4th or 5th copy, the signatures and the seals are deteriorated and you can't read them.
Yeah.
So that's a big one. Latitude and longitude provided for the site evaluators wherever they dig holes. You know, we're talking anywhere from 1 acre to 10 acres. I don't have all day to search where you dug your hole to get your evaluation. I need to know that on the site plan.
Okay.
The installers need to give the DRs at least 5 days before the date in which the final inspection needs to be done. We can't do same day inspections. We're too big. I only have 4 DRs right now that work in the field. You know, if they have time, that's great. That's very rare because we're going all the way to Cleveland. You know, you guys know this county's huge, and with 4 DRs, they're spread all over.
Okay.
Public sewer. We're not allowed to put septic systems on a property if you're within 300 feet of a public system, unless you have a letter showing they deny you access to the public system.
Okay.
And then we have some in here for businesses. Visual and audible alarms are required for any on-site facility connected to a food establishment. In addition, a visual audible alarm will be located or installed inside the facility. I have gone to several of these properties. The alarm is going off like crazy outside, but the people inside have no idea. And they're like, what are you talking about? So I take them outside and I show them that the alarm's going off or the red light's on. A lot of time they put them on silent and all they see is a red light.
Yeah.
Well, if you don't know anything about a septic, you have no idea that there's an issue. This way, in restaurants and stuff like that, there's going to be an alarm inside to notify somebody that there's an issue before it becomes a really bad issue and overflowing.
Okay.
This also authorizes us to go in and look at the systems, even if they've been approved. You know, because sometimes we get complaints, like every other department does in the county, and we have to investigate. So it gives us the right to be able to go on their property with permission. You know, we do knock on the doors and tell them that we need to see their system. We don't just walk on unless there's nobody there.
Right.
Right now, we're too afraid of getting attacked by dogs. I've had a few of my inspectors jumping in the back of pickup trucks to get away from the dogs that are running around. So it's just a little bit more difficult, but it does help. And one of the big things that we have by addition is secondary structures, like garages, storage buildings, shops. They might not necessarily have bathroom facilities or electric even hooked up to them, but they're putting them right on top of their spray field.
Yeah.
Which takes away the square footage that was designed for their house to use. So basically, that's the highlight of it. I mean, I'm just strengthening it. Like I said, I've been working on it back and forth, and this has been approved by TCEQ. I did give you guys all an extra copy ahead of time. If you need another copy, I'll be more than glad to bring you another copy. Any questions?
Any discussion? And that's all this is just discussion right now.
I did receive no comments, letters, phone calls, no emails, anything in my office in concern with this.
From installers or public?
Or anybody, designers, nothing. I expected a couple individuals, but nothing. I was surprised.
Yeah. Well, it's
pleasantly.
Very good.
So.
All right. Leon, can you hear us okay? All right. You got any questions for Melinda?
No, all sounds pretty self-explanatory.
All right. David, anything? Greg or Bruce, y'all got anything? All right. Well, thank you, Melinda. Good morning, everybody. It's October 24th, 9:01 a.m. regular County Commissioners Court meeting. We do have business for the court this morning. Let the record show Commissioner Karbowski, Arthur Whitmire present. Commissioner Wilson is with us by way of Zoom. So we have a full quorum established. And we do have, as I said before, we had business for the court this morning. If we'd all rise, Lee, if you would lead us in the pledges, and Sheriff could lead us in invocation.
Please face the American flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Now please face the Texas flag. On
the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Pray, please. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for the beautiful weather we've been having, for the rain, for the sunshine, Lord. Thank you for all the blessings that you give us. Lord, we're mindful this morning of many things going on, Lord. We're mindful. We ask that you be with the trouble they're having over in Israel, Lord, and you be with them and protect them, Lord. And Lord, I know that I pray for peace. I pray for peace not only there, but throughout the world, Lord. Lord, we're also mindful of those that have been struggling with some illness, for Angela and Commissioner Wilson, Lord. I pray a prayer for them, Lord. Be with them. Thank you, Lord, for all the elected officials and employees of the community. Thank you for the judge and commissioners. As we go through this court, Lord, I just ask that you be with them and that you guide them and give them wisdom to do the things that they would do and for the benefit of all the people here in Liberty County. Lord, many times we fall short. We ask for forgiveness, Lord. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for being a loving God, a forgiving God. It's in your son, Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Right. We don't have any notices or proclamations this morning, did he? See anything? Okay. Okay. Public comment, nobody signed up, but I asked Lee if she would tell us a little bit about the early voting that's ongoing right now and kind of give us a rundown what it looks like.
Yeah, we got started yesterday. So first day was a little slow. I think we had 193 vote countywide, about 50 in the Cleveland election. But I think it will pick up this week. For the rest of this week through Friday, it's 9 to 6 voting hours. However, as of Saturday, it goes to 7 to 7. All 5 early voting locations. On Sunday, it's from 1 p.m. to 7. We're going to let everybody go to church before they have to start working.
Yeah.
And then all of next week from Monday through Friday is from 7 to 7 at all early voting locations. There's 14 propositions to vote on, as well as the Cleveland school bond election, the Liberty County ESD number 2 tax election, and there are 2 MUDs and MDs that have tax elections. So there's very limited number of voters for those 2 elections. So a lot of very important things on the propositions. There are explanations of the propositions from the Secretary of State on our website. There's more information on our website about the locations with, how to find them, all of that. But basically, we've got Dayton Community Center, Civic Center, Community Center, Jack Hertel Building over here, Hardin City Hall, and then we have the Cleveland Civic Center, as well as a new place in Commissioner Whitmire's precinct. It's the church in Cleveland with a very tall steeple that you can't miss.
Yeah.
It's called the Sanctuary. Very nice church. We have a room on the backside of the main structure. And, it's our first time to use it, but it's so far so good. So those are our 5 early voting locations.
Great.
And they do include curbside voting for people that need it.
So are there directions on curbside voting on your website?
Yes. And if you go there, you'll see a big cone with a phone number on it.
Okay.
And it kind of, what you basically do is you drive it where the cone is, call the number, and they'll come outside and bring your, the poll pad outside so you can register and get your ballot and everything. So they'll come out and assist you.
But you have to come there yourself.
Yeah.
You can't send your husband or whatever. Yeah.
Well, technically, you have until, I think, next Monday to turn in an application for mail-in ballots. I will get it in as soon as.
Okay.
Because we do have to deal with the mail. But we are still accepting applications for mail-in ballots.
Okay.
And I think that's
Pretty much it.
November 7th is the election day.
November 7th. Okay. Any questions? Anybody comments? Nope. All right, let's move on. Declare conflicts of interest. Anybody have any items on the agenda that would require declaration of a conflict of interest? Hearing none, we'll move on to consent agenda. Help y'all with all the opportunity. Look over the consent agenda. And if you have any questions, please feel free to You can request to move those to the regular agenda or just approve them as they are. Dwayne, you have any add-ons today? Nothing?
Judge, I have an add-on.
Yes, ma'am.
Based on our last meeting and the vote therefrom, I would ask that, overtime compensation to Deputy Tucker in the amount of $5,000 as a one-time payment be added to run with the next payroll, as well as, increasing comp time by $300.
Went way too fast for me.
Sure.
Overtime compensation to Deputy Tucker in the amount of how much?
5,000.
And what was the last part?
And increasing his compensation time by $338.
Along with the add-ons, I make a motion to approve consent agenda. Linda?
Yeah, motion from Bruce, second from Greg to approve the consent agenda with the add-ons as stated. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nay. That motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Move to the regular agenda, 8.1 from Mr. Brown.
Yes, sir.
How you doing this morning, Rick?
I'm feeling a little regress. Not getting- I think they did all they could do and move
Yeah.
on. We'll support the other Texas team now.
Well, we have to.
Yes, sir.
Gotcha. Okay, this first one is
Good.
consider and approve overpay refund in the amount of $4,473.73 for account number 74431. Customer is Rocket Mortgage.
Yes, sir. And this happens quite a bit. The mortgage company pays it. The taxpayer pays it. Whoever pays it first, the one that sticks, the second one's considered overpaid. So we can only collect one time on them. So we refund, and by statute, anything over 2,500 needs to come before the commission's court. So that's I recommend you approve this action.
Yes, sir.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion from Bruce, second from Greg. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nay. That motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Rick.
Yes, sir.
And you can hang your Astro shirt up till next.
It'll be clean next
spring.
year.
Number 8.2, from our fire marshal, Bill Hugger-Mueller. Consider and approve agreement between Liberty County and ESD number 2 Fire Department and City of Liberty Fire Department for fire protection services. And that's our contracts. This last two, well, no, there's one other, but
Yes, sir. This is like,
that'll be a
we got a discussion on those.
yes.
We approve.
Second.
Motion from Greg, second from Bruce to approve. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call for vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays. That motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Next one, number 8.3, consider and approve Letha Ferguson as a member of the commissioners, one of the commission on the Housing Authority Board, and she has agreed to serve, and we do need to get a person to fill that position.
Approve.
A motion from Greg, second from Bruce. Further discussion? Call for a vote. All in favor? Likewise, nays. That motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 8.4 from Linebarger. They're here today. Consider and approve the following bids on delinquent properties. Number 1, Salceda. Property ID number 60386 for $5,000. Number 2 is Walker. Property ID numbers 53369 for $2,000. Number 3 is Nizami. Property ID number is 53508 for $4,175. 4 is Carter for property ID is 53317 for $7,500. And property 5 is Berry Investments LLC. Property ID 75263 for $3,000.
I did have the opportunity to look these over. Make a motion to approve all 5.
You got a motion from Bruce to approve. Second from Greg. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, call for a vote. All in favor, say aye. Likewise, nay. That motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 5, Commissioner Karbowski has a consider and approve waiving the 2-year maintenance period of county roads 48619, 48620, 48624, 48626 in consideration of the upfront donation of $15,000 to Road and Bridge 1, Precinct 1 for the Cedar Springs Section 4 subdivision.
Move to approve.
Got a motion from Greg, second from Leon. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Likewise, nay. That motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 6. Man, my nose is doing its goldenrod dance this morning. Number 6 is for permits, inspections. Melinda, consider and approve Schaumburg and Polk Incorporated Engineering Services invoicing for the City of Ames sanitary sewer improvements using ARPA funds for a total of $17,040. And that we received a statement or invoice, no doubt. So-
Yes, we have, there's 4 invoices. There's a little bit of a mix up because there's invoices are supposed to go to the city first for approval of the mayor, then to me, and then I bring them to y'all for payment. Approval for payment.
Right.
So some of them kind of got lost in the mixture. That's why I think there's one that's dated for March that was missed when Mr. Douglas left. Apparently it was sent to him and not to me. So,
Okay.
April. But other than that, yes, sir.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but this is to be paid out of the ARP money, right?
Yes, sir. This is all ARPA funds.
Thank you.
So we got everything squared away.
Yeah, we're up to date now.
Make a motion to pay or approve.
Yep. Motion Bruce, second Leon to approve.
Right.
Any further discussion? Call for a vote. All in favor? Likewise, nay. That motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 8-7 from Melinda. Consider and approve the Venado Lake Section 1 preliminary plat. This item was tabled on September 12th court. Further review of the pump detention. LJ has reviewed and the letter is attached in the packet. So Cody is here too. Is that
Cody
correct?
is also here. And I would kind of like his expertise on this one because I have nothing to do with pumps and stuff like that, of course.
Right.
So I'm going to let him speak on this one for you.
No
Right?
My name is Cody Trolling with LJA, work with Manuel Mendoza. You couldn't be here today, so I'm filling for him. Basically on Venado Lakes or any subdivision of pumps, it's not an engineering issue. They can design the pumps to adequately and hydraulically be sufficient. Our concern is there is no mechanism in place currently in the regulations that really, the regulations are very deficient in pump regulations and sizing and stuff like that. But beyond the approval process, there's no mechanism, logistics in place for annual maintenance, whether it's annual, biannual, quarterly, no inspections, inspection fees. There's nothing like that in place. Those things would have to be done because during a storm event is not when you want to realize that this thing ain't working, so there's no power out there. So it would have to be inspected. There's nothing like that in place right now. That would have to put into regulations. So being that that stated is that it's entirely up to y'all whether you want to move forward or not. But the system they provided does meet the rather lenient regulations that y'all have, and it does work. It would work hydraulically, but it is strictly an O&M issue at this point. Move forward with it at this time, or you want to put those regulations in place before y'all start allowing detention or pump detention.
Right.
Is there a backup system in case the primary fails?
You're talking about power?
Or on, not power, the pump itself?
Well, your regulations, you really have hardly anything that requires in the design. But on this one specifically, on any others that require pumps, we had pulled in other regulations from other counties or drainage districts just to be kind of, supplemental to yours, because yours don't really address any design requirements. But on those supplemental regulations, which technically aren't yours, and we could have enforced them even if we get any pushback, because they're not stated in your regulations. They did require 2 pumps, and auxiliary power on site. But But again, those are the kinds of things that need to be in your regulations.
Just have that.
No,
Well, during the review period, we did ask them to provide it and they did address it. But again, even if they said, no, we don't want to address it, we couldn't have forced them to do it because they're not in your regulations.
Yeah.
Your regulations are basically pumps aren't recommended, but they do require approval.
Cody,
Yes.
okay, based on this agenda item today, is those regulations going to be in that, in this agenda item that we're about to vote on, or do we need to back up? And, I'll let you and Melinda apply those regulations before we vote on this item.
Well, I think we were going to address that in the past. We had asked for some changes to the regulations, not only for pump detention, but for minimum lot sizes, minimum lot width and stuff like that. I think we're trying to get some workshops together to go over all the regulations that need to be updated. But to answer your question, right now, they're not in place.
It is not in place.
They're not in place in Liberty County regulations, no.
But for us to approve this, if we specify these things,
Well, we specified on the design, yes, but right now, there's still nothing, once it's approved, there's nothing in place for Melinda or the county to oversee it in the future, not necessarily operate it, but there's nothing that says they can go out there and inspect it, or an annual inspection report, or biannual, or fees in the future, or even any way to show who's actually operating it. There's nothing in place that says the county needs to know who's in charge of this, who's responsible for it, whether it's the developer, homeowners association representative.
but
All
if we had that into the agreement when we approved it,
If it was in the regulations, yes, it could be accountable. But right now, it's not.
So, Cody,
Yes, sir.
as of this moment, based on what you're telling us because of your expert abilities within this area, should we take no action on this today and allow those regulations to get put into this statute where we can come back and vote on it completely?
Okay, Venado Lakes is on our time limit right now. On this one, because this is the second time it's been brought back, we've already passed our 45 days. We either need to approve it or deny it at this time. But we definitely need to get our workshops together and get our our regulations updated and include this is a big portion of it because we've got more developers wanting to do the pump detention coming down the pike.
yeah, and that's what since we don't have this stuff in place, we've got engineering coming here that tell us what needs to be in place to do this. And we can.
But we
put that-
can't enforce it right now. And when you're saying there's
If
like,
we put it in the approval,
whether it's in the regulations or not, it seems like
yeah, if we approve it with these conditions that we come in there and.
you can do a
inspect it.
conditional approval. Is that what you're trying to do?
Yeah, but it would be essentially a conditional approval, it's mentioned that the approval is based on this is the thing we want. And if we don't get that, then it's not approved.
I think that's more of a legal question.
Yeah.
What you can prove right now without the regulations in place or without the maintenance and inspection reports, if the mechanism in place.
Cody,
That's what
That's, yeah.
Yeah, you would need to approve the regulations first.
that's what I was getting. All right. So right now, then we approve it.
Cody,
Yes, sir.
can you give me some kind of indication at all how long it would take to incorporate these statutes? And then we can come back and visit this.
Well, we can update, there's many areas of the regulations that need to be revised. We could do them piecemeal and address this one specifically first. Or we could have workshops and address many at the same time, but this one seems to be kind of this one in lot sizes also, but this one right here seems to be the most urgent. So I think we could address this one first, get the regulations revised and adopted by the court. And then from that point on, I think these kinds of subdivisions with pump detention could be approved.
Okay, I still need, what kind of time frame are you looking at incorporating these regulations? how long will it take?
Probably about, I would say, 2 to 3 weeks for us to get with Melinda, go over the regulations, and then let council review them, then get them up on, on Commissioner's Court at some point in the future. Probably with 1 to 2 months, depending on, scheduling.
To get everything ironed
To get
out.
everything ironed out, because,
We want it to be as specific as possible before you.
we're going to have to develop forms for inspection
Yeah.
reports, talk about the inspection fees, how often the inspections are going to be, what those fees would be.
Will be included in this.
Oh, absolutely.
I think this is one topic alone.
I think we need a workshop just on this one.
This one, yeah, workshop.
That way the developers can be present as well.
I don't want to come to court. This is what you can break down. I wouldn't be-
No, absolutely. That's why we suggested doing workshops. That way the developers and any interested parties can also be there and, give their input to what we can and cannot do.
We did that a few years ago and it worked quite well. Everybody showed up, and everybody got
Right.
along. Yeah.
So right now, we're looking at a time clock going, we either need to approve this or disapprove this. If we disapprove this, can this developer bring this back to court after we?
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
if it's not approved right now, he could just, and if he thinks that at some point in the near future, the county will change the regulations to allow it,
Yeah.
he would just hold it and then reapply.
Right.
His plans, everything's already finished, he'd just resubmit it, and then if the regulations would allow it, then it would move forward.
Yeah, because it really concerns me with the hurricanes and stuff that we have coming through here with these pumps.
Mhm.
Supposed to pump the water out, we
Right.
lost electricity and everything else, and now we're just sitting with a lake of water that's fixing to come over the top to
Right.
possibly wash it out at the same time.
That's the kind of thing that need to be addressed in the regulations, backup power, auxiliary pumps and stuff like that. And who's responsible for all that?
Let's try to get over that request. But right now, we don't have anything, we don't have any choice to deny that, I think, at the time, so I'll make a motion.
Second.
Got a motion to deny from Greg, second from Bruce. Is there any further discussion? Call for a vote. All in favor, say aye. Likewise, nays, and that motion does carry. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Code appreciate that.
No problem.
Number 8.8, departments and inspections, consider and approve the proposed order adopting rules of Liberty County, Texas for on-site sewage facilities. This is a revised order for OSSF, strengthening the rules that are already in place in Liberty County. This is just reinforcing what we discussed earlier in the public meeting.
Yes.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion from Greg, from Bruce. Second from Leon. Further discussion? Call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Likewise, next. That motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. I have been working on this, like I said, Mr. Douglas and I have been working on this for 4 years to get it approved from TCEQ and.
Well, it just makes sense. It's.
Right, I
already
mean, we're
rules.
growing
Yeah.
so much, we need to have a little bit more authority.
Number 9, 8.9. Under permits and inspections, consider and approve MV Ching Properties replat of lots 553 through 557, block 9, and 561 through 564 of Cypress Lakes. The owner is not planning to sell the properties, only changing how they are recorded for tax purposes.
They have multiple lots over there. Instead of getting 10 or 11 tax reports, they just wanted to knock it down to just a few. She understands that this property cannot be sold because of where it is in the floodway.
Rick, any problem with that?
If you do 1,500 more.
Gotcha. All right.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion from Bruce, second from David. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Likewise, nays. That motion carried. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 8.10. Glenn, we're just wearing you out today.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I'm giving exercise.
I mean,
Gentlemen, I apologize. In my haste to get this turned in on time, I left the word easement out in front of the variance request. So it should say easement variance request. Everything else is correct on here.
With that being added, Catherine, can we move
Yeah,
forward? Yeah, okay.
That's
I just needed to,
All right.
every time I get it turned in.
Consider approved.
Y'all on this one too.
All right, consider approved easement variance request allowing for 20-foot interior drainage ditches in Moss Ranch, section 1, on the final plat submission. A subdivision of 49.72 acres situated in Liberty County, Texas. This subdivision consists of 52 lots and 4 blocks. It is located in precinct 2. All interior drainage will be maintained by the Moss Ranch Homeowners Association. Okay. Discussion.
Gregory?
And then, do you have any questions on the engineering side of it? Cody is here and the developer is also here. Scott, if he needs anything to say over.
Leon, you got any questions?
Well, I'm seeing us being a 20-foot drainage, easement, interior drainage ditches. No, you're referring to 20-foot from the center of roadway? Or are you referring to? What are you exactly referring to?
Well, I'll explain. Look, right now, there's no minimum ditch easement requirement in the regulations. The easement would be a function of the size of the ditch. What this actually is referring to is in the regulations, beyond the top of the ditch, there's also an extra 20-foot required beyond the ditch for access.
Right.
They're actually asking for that, not to have that 20-foot extra width at the top of the ditch. They only want the easement width to be whatever they need from top of ditch to top of ditch.
So there wouldn't be an easement if precinct 2 needed to get in there and get some work done. There wouldn't be an easement on each side of the ditchway.
That brings up another question is if there's a stipulation in there that the homeowners association is going to maintain the ditch, I wasn't quite sure why there needs to be an easement to begin with.
It's actually on the plat as a
He had it.
as a reserve. It's
Mhm.
not an easement.
When you step up here where you can hear.
Come on up, Scott.
Well, that would make more sense if it's a reserve.
On the plat, it's a reserve. I think it's reserve B on the plat. And it's basically it's a 10-foot ditch, 4-to-1 slope, 6-foot flat, with 5 feet on both sides. And me and the builder got together and designed this, not our engineer designed it.
Thank you.
But we took it out of the lot. That way it can be maintained by itself by the HOA. And so that's a pretty innocent interior ditch. It's not on the road. It's behind the lots, in between 2 lots is what it is.
Yeah.
These lots, they would drain to this ditch, and then that ditch would then drain to the detention pond.
Okay.
And it doesn't drain forward to the county road.
And you do have a detention pond, I saw on the, I think, the north side of that property.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. It drained, it basically what we're doing, we're from the ditch, from your county ditch, we're sloping everything to the middle of this to keep the water off of your ditches. Because I live a mile from there in the prairie.
Yeah.
It won't handle it.
Well, they call it a prairie for a reason.
Yeah, so we're asking, we're just saying that this is a reserve down through there that's going to take the water from 222 foot height to 214 where the pond will be, and take all the water and put it in the pond and take it out.
Okay.
So I think what this is asking for is not to have that additional 20 feet within the reserve or easement.
Yeah. So it's a variance. Yeah.
The variance to not have that 20 feet extra, basically, yes.
Since it's stated on the plat, Catherine, as a reserve, do we want to amend this to where it consider approved reserve variance request?
Yes, you can amend that and it would make your motion.
Okay.
With that, fit in your need.
Yes, I'm not, what I'm trying to do by doing this is to take that off of the county from Greg having to do any work on my site, period.
Yeah, the HOA is going to maintain it.
HOA is going, we'll have maintenance crews and everything out there underneath that. There'll be probably more money than what Greg would have on my whole street.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I've yet to see an HOA disappear.
But it can happen.
What? Leon, you got a question?
I said it could happen.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make a motion to approve.
Yeah, I got a motion from Greg to approve. Second from David. Is there any further discussion? Being none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor, say aye. Likewise, next. That motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Okay, and
Gentlemen, are you actually approving his final plat submission as well at the same time?
yes,
Okay,
Well,
I wanted to make sure.
that's what's in the wording
Yes, yes.
of the agenda item.
Well,
You wanted to add the.
I didn't know that was,
No,
I didn't interpret that as, but that's up to you all, but I thought this was just a variance request, not final plat.
Okay,
that's
Because
how,
we still have other issues that we would need to resolve.
okay,
that's how it reads.
just a variance.
Okay,
I would make a motion that specifically talks about the variance if you're not gonna approve.
What I have is motion to approve. Sorry, Eastwood Reserve variance request a line for 20-foot interior drainage ditches in Moss Ranch Section 1, a subdivision of 49.72 acres situated in Liberty County, Texas, on the final plat submission.
Okay.
So you're not, it doesn't say you're approving the plat, you're
Okay.
saying you're approving, putting this variance on the plat.
Yeah.
So that's why I said it doesn't really say.
They are approving the plat.
Okay.
all right. So no, that doesn't include the final plat approval. Yeah, but it does on the submission. So we're good. Catherine, we're good?
Yes, sir.
Vote's good. Everything's good.
Yes, sir.
Don't need to bring it back up, rescind anything, talk about it again. Okay. We'll make sure. Thank y'all.
Very much.
Number 11, 8.11, Mr. Brown,
Yes, sir.
consider approved contract to collect PID. That's Public Improvement District money for West Point Villages beginning 2024.
Yes, sir. It's West Point Village, which I know some of y'all are probably familiar with it because they had approached the county to participate in the TERS. We opted to not participate in it.
That's over in
On
Dayton,
Waco.
Waco Street in Dayton.
Yes, it's
Leon, you know where we're talking about?
surrounds Oakwood, basically wraps around Oakwood subdivision
Yeah,
to the north, to the west, and to the south. So it basically, encompasses around Oakwood with separate access on Waco Street. I was kind of surprised. I actually hadn't been in that area in a while, and I went out there, and all of a sudden I saw like 100 houses.
yeah,
I mean, it's really
filled
taken
up.
off.
Yeah.
And the city contacted me probably in August saying, hey, we have a TERS, which we know you aren't participating in. We got up to speed on that, which will start paying out next year for the city of Dayton only, not Wayne. That's not something we're involved in.
Mhm.
But then they asked us to collect the PID. And at the time I said, obviously in August, I can't get everything done in time to get on the 23 tax bill. So they've asked that we consider collecting it and adding a line to our tax statements going forward at 24. So we're still real early, but I wanted to get in front of the court because this is something that the court would contract with the entity to put it on a line item of a consolidated statement going out. I'm still, and I don't have a contract for y'all to approve today. I just basically the concept, if you want to go forward with it, let us develop it because it's a little different than any of our other contracts. Basically, everything else is based on the assessment, the valuation, and then a resolution saying this. But I'm kind of getting into the weeds on how they determine this assessment on these bids, which would be my first one. So before we actually commit on it, how we charge them, do we charge them like the 32 cents a count like we do on normal counts? Or is this something that's going to take more or less? And they said it's a total of 500 homes that they plan on having out there. So they're probably about 20% into this development already. But they've already pretty much laid it out, you know, I guess with all the dry weather and everything, they were able to really, you know, get on it and get stuff set up there. So
you don't ask us to approve the final contract. We just.
No, sir, I don't.
Want to go forward and work out the
To see if
details
y'all-
and come back with that.
Exactly, because, you know, it's going to take some give and take on it to figure out exactly, you know, because it's the first one of its kind that we've done.
This is one with the TERS with a pit overlay.
Yes, that's right. And again, it's involving, what little I've learned about it, there's a fixed cost that they're trying to pass on to the owners of the land. This doesn't go to the, unless you're in that specific territory, you would be the only ones impacted. So again, we have to be able to identify those accounts and then figure out how we figure it each year, because they do have a company that's doing that right now. In fact, they're doing it for this year. They said we just can't get to it. And then we can just kind of take it over for next year. So it's really preliminary at this point, just basically saying, yes, you're in favor of looking into it. Once we get the details, we'll get back with you and let you approve the final contract.
Well, the way this is worded, do we just need to table this right now? I mean, and
Yeah, and really, it's worded, it wasn't meant to be an action item, but really a consideration. So you could table it or you could just
Take no
action at this point. It really just kind of get an indication,
make a motion to take no action.
but I'll get back with you.
Catherine, is there anything else we might add to this at this time, or just go ahead and go forward, take no action?
Just take no action and my office can give it what you need.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, you got a motion from Bruce, take no action. Second from Greg. Any further discussion? Call for a vote. All in favor, say aye. Likewise, nays. That motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 8.12, Mr. C. Consider to approve the renewal of lease number 11446 70908-011 with Cadence Bank for 2023 Mack Pinnacle 64T dump truck with a Tiger dump body for Road and Bridge number 4.
It's the current truck that precinct 4 has, and as Commissioner Wilson wants to renew, renewal is available for another year.
Okay. You like those trucks okay, Leon?
Yeah, we need it.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion from David, need a second. Second from Bruce. All right. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Likewise, nays. That motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Mr. C, we got several more for you. It's the number 813. Discuss, consider, and select vendors to award a term contract for bid number 24-01 for road materials.
Okay, your current road material bid is up on November 7th.
Mhm.
So you got 2 more weeks on it. If you approve these, it would begin November the 8th. So when you look through there, you have some projects coming up next 2 weeks. You might want to order those. There was one instance where they went down a little bit, but of course everybody else goes up. So you might want to
Yeah.
order some stuff before. The only thing I want to add is, ask you to accept the low bidders. But when we send out the bid documents, we always include terms and conditions. And one of them is, if the vendor that was chosen cannot supply Liberty County with the materials ordered, then they're supposed to, by email, within 2 hours of the order, notify purchasing. And then that would allow you to go to the next lower bidder if there is one, because sometimes they'll get caught in, you got a project going on and all of a sudden they don't have material. And then at that point, you could go with a low bidder, and then when the other the original low bidder has the material, he's supposed to notify us that he has it. That kind of gets drawn out. I know we got stuck a few times in the past. So if you do pass this, accept the low bidders, in accordance with the terms and conditions of the proposal, which they accept when they bid on it.
Is there anything you'd have that could trigger them to be sure to call you within 2 hours?
Well, it's in here, but
Yeah.
I don't think people read those proposals too well, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna take that out and highlight it and put it real big font and send it to all the low bidders
Yeah.
so that they're aware of it.
Okay. All right, what's the court's pleasure?
Motion we approve.
Got a motion from Leon, second from Greg. Is there any further discussion? Call for a vote. All in favor, say aye. Likewise, nays. That motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. All right, Harold, number 814. Consider to approve the purchase of the 2023 John Deere 331G compact track loader from Shoppers John Deere in the amount of $85,069.13 through the buy board contract number 685-22. Be financed through John Deere Financial with a down payment of $30,000. That's going to precinct 3. Pretty explanatory.
Yep, that's
Make a motion to approve.
We've got a motion from Bruce, second. All if there's Leon or Greg, I'll go to Leon. Any further discussion? Call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays. That motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 815, Sheriff Rader. Consider and approve the addition of 2 copiers to the Platinum Copiers contract for the Liberty County Sheriff's Department.
Yes, sir. Just adds 2 copiers. We have money in the budget to pay for it.
Make a motion we approve.
Any problem there, Kathy? We good? Dwayne? We good?
Second.
There was a motion for Leon, second from Bruce. Any further discussion? Call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nay. That motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Number 816, consider and approve the election judges and alternates for the November 7th, 2023 special election, as well as the non-county election worker pay of $12 per hour with overtime pay at the time and a half. The appointed early voting clerks are included. Ross Norwood is the early voting ballot board judge. The extended hours for the Liberty County Clerk's Office Elections Department and Liberty County Tax Assessor Collector Voter Registration or Voter Registrar Department are attached. County employees working the election beyond their normal 40-hour work week will also be paid time and a half. Election workers are paid from the election expense category of the election office budget. That's pretty explanatory. You got specific on that. Okay.
Well, technically, there is some money that we're receiving from Cleveland ISD and the other vendors that go into, I think, a separate fund, Dwayne, that we pay some salaries out of. So it's not just, I don't know if you can move it or if we just take some out of which ones, but we do have contract elections as well. So I guess I should have mentioned that we will be using some of that contract elections funds to refund the overtime that we pay and the employees that we pay. But we are trying this time to hire some more people and not have them work such long hours. We had an incident at the last election where one of our workers was taken away and the ambulance and the diagnosis was exhaustion and dehydration. So they all have massive amount of water at their locations.
Okay.
And we're trying to fix it so they're not working those crazy hours for 12 days in a row. I mean, I don't think any of us could sustain it. So we really are trying to move it around.
Mhm.
I don't think it's going to be too extensive. There are a handful of places where some of my staff are going to have to fill in, most notably out in 23 and 31. But other than that, we're doing pretty well. We've got a lot of people signed up.
Yeah.
And this is just for this election. We will have party people. The parties will recommend people for the the next election. So it says 1 year, but the truth is it's probably just for this one. And they will give us new people that, the party election judges will, hopefully we will get those by the end of the year and you guys can vote on those for the primary coming up in February, March.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion